Marlbo Tech Talk.
Alright, so welcome to another episode of Marlbo Tech Talk. So today we are exploring a topic that many of us hope we'll never get to experience firsthand, but one that emergency responders prepare for every single day. So have you ever wondered what it really takes to free someone trapped inside a vehicle? So this takes more than just courage and expertise. So this requires advanced rescue technology that performs under immense pressure, so where every second is a fight between life and death. So today we are diving into the world of rescue innovation with a brand that has been trusted by first responders across the globe for over 55 years, Holmatro. So founded in 1967, Holmatro has built a reputation for creating powerful hydraulic rescue solutions that help rescuers work faster, safer and smarter, from vehicle extrication to disaster response. So joining us today is Mr. Anil Nangia, Head of Sales and Marketing of Holmatro Rescue Equipment, Netherlands. We'll be talking about why the rescue equipment matters more than ever and why Holmatro is the best for life-saving missions. So welcome, Mr. Anil Nangia.
Thank you so much, Para, for having me here. Actually, I live in New Delhi and I work for this company, Holmatro, which is headquartered in the Netherlands. And I would like to thank, first of all, Marlbo, the chairman and the managing director who had the vision of getting the hydraulic rescue tools in Sri Lanka. And we've been interacting with them for the last 6 to 8 months. And now we took a decision to appoint them as our exclusive partner for Sri Lanka. And yesterday we had a great seminar, which was attended by around 90 professionals from all over the, Sri Lanka, the island, coming from industries of like fire, aviation, defense. So that was a great show. So first of all, thank you so much. Thanks to Marlbo and thanks to you.
Welcome, sir.
For having me here. Now coming to Holmatro, yes, it's the leader in the field of hydraulic rescue tools, and what makes us different from our competitors is the DNA. The DNA of the company is innovation. We come out with products which are the latest in technologies. We work very closely with the firefighters. We always take the inputs from the industry, and we have a single mission to improve the downtime. That means the time in which we have to rescue and provide the rescue operations at the earliest. So we have to come out with tools which work faster, which are stronger, and which are easy to handle for the firefighter. That means ergonomically, they are the best. So almost around 8 to 10% of our earnings is plowed back into the company, which is used for research and development. So the R&D is the backbone which allows us to come with the latest products. After every 4 years, we'll have some new product coming in, and we are always ahead of the competition. And we believe that nothing comes close to us as far as the hydraulic rescue solutions are concerned, which we provide globally to around 150 countries. And as I said, time is the essence. I mean, in a rescue operation, it's the time, the technique, and the tools. So we master that quite well. So that makes us the leader in this field.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that introduction to Holmatro. So before we move on to Holmatro itself, I think many people only truly understand the importance of rescue tools when they get to witness a serious accident. So like you mentioned before, rescue time is very important when it comes to accidents and saving lives. So how critical is response time during these operations?
Well, that's the key. That's the key. As I said, every second matters as for rescue. See, it depends from country to country. It depends on the policy of a country. How far is the fire station? How far are the responders? How soon they can come? Like yesterday in the seminar, we saw many incidents in Sri Lanka where there's a road accident there's a pollution of lorries, or you had a cyclone, then there was an earthquake a few years back. So whenever these natural calamities happen, we have to see what the policymakers have done to reduce the response time, the time which the responder will take to reach at the site. That's the one. And second is, when it reaches the site, the responder wants to use the tools quickly so that he can save maximum lives. So that is the essence. So we have tools where the setting time is minimum. We have introduced our battery tools, which are like fastest in the industry. So that is one. Second, they're easy to handle, easy to operate, and you can maneuver faster. So all these things matter, while going for a rescue operation. The product matters, the training matters, and the experience matters, and most important, the reliability. So every firefighter or the responder chooses Holmatro for not just the product features, but the reliability. That's the most important key, that the tool should work at the right time when it is required. So, as I said, it's the speed and the technique and the availability. These are the key factors which are needed for a quick rescue.
That's true, sir. Also, now the next concern is now modern vehicles are becoming stronger and complex. So, how has that changed the challenges that rescuers face?
Yeah, that's a good question. The car technology is increasing and changing day by day. You have the EV cars coming in, the metallurgy is changing. That's right. So we work very closely with the manufacturers, and we also innovate our tools accordingly. The blades, the cutters, the spreaders, the products which we have. So we change according to the metallurgy available in the cars. So that innovations are being done by our R&D, and we're working very closely with them. So that is not a challenge, but yes, that's a continuous process which we are doing.
Okay. All right. And also, could you take us through some common limitations rescuers face when they go to a site of accident?
See, the limitation, there are three. Number one is availability, because these are expensive products, and some of the governments, because of lack of funds, they're not proactive. It's not that they don't want lives to be saved, but then the necessary funds are not available to purchase these tools. So availability is one issue, number one. Second, the funds sometimes do not allow to buy a good, reliable product, and they end up buying cheap tools which are not reliable. They're not of good quality, and rescuers are not happy, but they are forced to use.
Yes, that's right.
Third is the latest technology. So some of the rescuers, responders don't have the latest technology in hand. So they are still relying on technology which is outdated. Like in Sri Lanka, yesterday we got to know that people have tools which are like 20 years old. They're, half of them not working, they're not maintained well, and they're not prepared for any rescue operations. So things like that. So they have to be in line with the new technologies and keep maintaining their products which are already with them. So it's a continuous process. It is not that they buy a product and keep it with them and use it when the situation arises. The tool needs audit, it needs to be checked. So these are the methods, or you can say the processes which they have to follow. So if an organization is doing that, yes, they're always ready for a rescue mission. But without that, then obviously it limits their job.
Also, I think it's very important that we create awareness and educate rescue teams on such technology, sir.
Yes, yes. Like the seminar what we did yesterday, we should have, okay, not at that scale, but we should have more road shows. We should educate our customers, the responders and the fire services and the rescue teams, through emails or through internet, sending them more information, educating them, calling on them. So that is why we chose Marlbo, because we find that they have a good sales team, more feet on the road, and secondly, they have a good marketing team. and they're very active on the social media. We see them on YouTube and internet, in all platforms. So that is really a good thing which they're doing. So that's why we chose Marlbo, which helps in educating the customers.
All right, sir. Okay, so I think now that's about why rescue tools matter.
Yeah.
And I think we've covered about Holmatro, a basic introduction about Holmatro. So I would like to ask, what would you say separates Holmatro from the conventional rescue equipment we already have in the market?
Yeah. See, as I said, Holmatro's DNA is innovation. So when I say innovation, that means we're always ahead of the competition in terms of feature benefits. So our feature benefits are far more than our competition. Something like we are getting into digital now. Our tools are Bluetooth operated. We have an app which can be downloaded on a phone or a tablet, and we can check the health of the battery, the health of the tool, which is quite unique. It's slowly picking up in Asia, but in Europe, customers are really excited to use this app. So that's a technology-driven thing. We are working on new solutions like anti-theft. We're coming with a feature. There are many which I cannot disclose right now, but we have created a team which is into to see how we can progress in the digitalization of our tools. How can we interface uh, with other platforms so that it's another feature which we can give it to our customers. We participated in an exhibition called the Intershoots. It happens every 4 years in Germany, and this time it was in the first week of June, which was a great show. And we have a marketing event called the Rescue Challenge. In the Rescue Challenge, we have teams, firefighter teams coming from all over the world. So we had 20 teams this time from countries like Holland, from Poland, Hungary, Japan, Taiwan, Spain. So we have this event that creates a lot of awareness, increase the brand building of Holmatro. People get to know and they get to actually see what goes into our tool, how our tool is better. On we do practical. There's a competition where the cars are being cut and the victim is being taken out from the car, and which teamer does in the minimum time wins, gets a trophy. So things like that makes us unique, and we invest, our earnings into, as I said, R&D, as well as in marketing for brand building, which I think our competitors don't do. So R is not just manufacture and make a sale. We want to maintain our leadership through innovation and through marketing, brand building. So that is the key.
Yes, so like I mentioned before, Holmatro is known in more than 160
Yeah.
countries. So could you take me through how the distribution happens in all of these countries and worldwide?
Yeah, that's really unique, and it's a strength area. We have distribution. We do it through our authorized dealers in every country. A, these dealers are trained at Holmatro on the product as well as the service. And the best part is the loyalty. We have dealers who are more than 40 years with us.
Okay.
They're dealers, at least there'll be 7 to 8 dealers who are with us for 40 years, another 10 to 15 dealers who are for 30 years. So that is very remarkable that our dealers are very loyal to our product, and we support our dealers till the hilt. So that makes us different from our competitors who keep on changing their channel partners quite frequently. But we take time in finding the dealer, the correct dealer. But once we have an agreement with the dealer, we push him hard, we support him, we cooperate, we help, and we work like partners. So it is not a cliche that they are our partners. We actually been in that partnership. So it's like a family. We call it a Holmatru family. So all our dealers and distributors, they're part of a Holmatru family. So very close knit family we have, and that is how we distribute our tools and maintain the longevity.
That's true. So it's more than just distribution.
Yeah,
It takes trust, the technical
trust, correct.
capability, and a long-term vision. So I'm curious, what made Marlbo the right choice in Sri Lanka to
Yeah,
bring Holmatro to the market?
that's a good question. That's a good question. We had a dealer who was looking after the interest of Holmatro for the last many years, and I mean nothing to put a finger on the country Sri Lanka, but Sri Lanka was hit by a lot of problems. You had political issues, then you had a cyclone, then economic downturn, then the COVID was there for everybody. So there were not much funds as for rescue goes in the country, in the island Sri Lanka. But then we smelled some opportunities during our visit last year. When we met the customers, we went around, we smelled business, we smelled opportunities, and we smelled the need of rescue tools, that the country needs rescue tools. So we thought, let's have a good channel partner. And we were, in fact, approached by Marlbo. It was mutual. We were looking for a good company. Marlbo approached us. We met them, and we found your chairman, Mr. Money, a very visionary person, and he had a vision for Sri Lanka for providing new innovative tools, not just rescue, but in the field of power, construction, infra, telecom. So we found that this gentleman had a vision for his country, and secondly, he had a mission of saving lives. So that was really a good combination. A company, a leader who has a vision as well as a mission, which matches our, the ethics Holmatro has. So we are also on the same mission of saving human lives. Making profit is one objective. That's the commercial objective. Otherwise, we are in this business, which is considered very noble. Although, fine, we make money out of the whole thing. That's, as I said, it's a commercial enterprise. So basically, the vision which the chairman had, Marlboro had. Second, the team. We found that you have a young team headed by a young CEO, and the average age of the employees is like 20 to 25. So that shows everybody is very energetic. They want to prove it. They want to be successful in the country, and they have full of ideas, full of zeal. So that was another thing which attracted us. A young team who's ready to learn, who's ready to get trained, the owner who's ready to invest in business in terms of demo tools, training, in marketing. So we decided that Marlboro would be the best
The right
partner for
choice.
us.
Yes.
And I'm sure that we took the right decision, and we'll go ahead a long way.
Definitely, sir. Also, was there something unique about the Sri Lankan market that Holmatro saw potential in? The reason you brought Holmatro to Sri Lanka?
See, to be honest, we are present, as you said, in almost 150 countries. So Sri Lanka was unique, as I said, that there are accidents happening. It's prone to a lot of calamities, but there is lack of rescue tools. And I believe that the policy makers are also now, changing their policies and trying to get some funds from overseas. The World Bank funds are there, or other investment companies like IMF and all. So all these show us that there is going to be a need for rescue tools, and plus there'll be a purchasing power of these tools, because that is also important. Having a need is one thing, but having a purchasing power is another thing.
Yeah.
So we feel that there'll be a lot of overseas investments, and the health of the country is also going to improve. And third, the policymakers are going to, think on these lines of providing funds which will be required to purchase new fire brigades, setting up new fire stations, and then procurement of new tools.
All right, sir. Also, another important thing we talk when it comes to selecting a channel partner is the after sales support and the technical expertise. So, how did you see Marlbo fit into this
Yeah,
requirement?
that's a good question, because we have supplied tools in this island country maybe 20 years ago. Some were donated by an NGO in the Netherlands, and some came through Japan. We saw a lot of fire brigades. They came from Japan fitted with Holmatro tools. So these tools need maintenance, they tools need repair, and as I said, they need to be audited and to be checked. And we found that Marlboro was willing to send their engineers to Netherlands for training or to India for some support, technical support. So and you're ready to stock some spares, open a service center in the country. So all these initiatives are very important, and we found that Marlboro made a commitment that they will be doing, taking steps in this direction. So once they do that, I'm sure we'll be able to address the issue of service of tools in this country.
That's right, sir. All right. So the next thing is, sir, there are several rescue equipment brands in the market, but what's important is going with innovation. So how does Holmatro fit into this, and could you take us through that?
Yeah, as I mentioned, that innovation is, in our DNA. And as yesterday, people were excited to see our battery operated tools. Now, battery operated tools were introduced maybe like a decade back, but now we came out to the next level and we call those series as Pentium.
Pentium.
Pentium. So we have a Holmatro battery platform, that means Holmatro batteries are dedicated for Holmatro tools. They're not available in the local market like our competitors who use batteries of say DeWalt or Milwaukee. Now these are companies which manufacture batteries as well as power tools. But in our case, there is a battery dedicated to our tools, which is common to the complete range. Like I said, these battery operated tools, the same battery is used for the cutter,
all
for the
the
spreader,
equipments.
for the rescue ram, or for the combi tool. And now we have new products coming in. One is called the PPV, which is positive pressure ventilator, which requires two batteries, the same Pentium batteries. We have some searchlights. Again, the lights will be fitted with our battery, the same Pentium battery. We introduced a battery pump recently, for the core tools. Core tools means tools which are used with hoses, and the customer doesn't want to buy a new battery tool, can use the core tools with a battery pump. So that's a new introduction we've done, which again, as I said, the Pentium battery would be utilized. So that is something what Holmatru keeps on doing. Every year we come up with new products. We strive to get new products every year, and the keeping, as I said, the battery platform the same. So that is a big advantage to the customer, that he doesn't have to go anywhere to buy the battery. And just imagine one day a fire brigade is going to be fitted with all Holmatru tools. Now we have rescue tools, we have the PPV, we have the battery pump, we have another product called the lifting bags, which is pneumatics, not run on batteries, that is totally separate, but we are into that field also. So slowly we are entering into the fire truck with maximum products.
Okay.
So, as answering to your question, innovation is the key, and we add on our products at quite intervals, regular intervals, and more are in the pipeline, and we'll gradually introducing them in the market.
Okay. So now going to a bit of a practical side, sir. What kind of feedback do you usually hear from the rescuing teams who use Holmatro tools?
See, the rescuers, they love our tools. I mean, I'm not saying because I am from Holmatro, but that's the feedback the firefighters give them, because we have feature benefits, so it's an advantage to the firefighter. The ergonomics, the way they hold the tool, they operate the tool, so it's quite easy. Maybe some are little higher in weight, but then the weight is compensated with the benefit which we offers. Like the cutter, it's the fastest in the market. So every rescuer would love that, and they're reliable, they're maintenance free. There is no problem. You buy once, then you don't have to look again for a long time. So reliability is matter. That's what they want, and most important thing is the pride, the ownership. The rescuer feels very proud to have a Holmatro tool, because it looks beautiful, as you say, our tools are sexy, you know. They look beautiful also. So it's not that they're the typical industrial look. The color is orange. We're very proud of the color orange. Um, and true, second, the most important thing, as I said, is the pride of having a tool, which the firefighter has. So feedback is always positive.
So
Always
Holmatro
positive.
has covered everything, not
Yeah.
just the technical part.
Except the purchase guy might say that we are the most expensive one. So the investment, the initial investment maybe is little more, but over the years, the return of investment for the organization is very positive. And as they say, I mean, human life is priceless. So if we see from that POV, that perspective, cost doesn't matter. You know, it's the the possession of the best rescue
Best
tool
rescue
that's more
tools.
important.
So for any rescue team that are planning on upgrading to Holmatro tools, so it is worth the transition.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, sir. So you were taking us through the hydraulic rescue solutions
Yeah.
offered by Holmatro.
Right.
So does Holmatro expand in other rescue-related equipment as well, sir?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we have the hydraulic rescue tools, and the other products, one is called the lifting bags. These are pneumatic lifting bags. So they don't work on hydraulic, they work on pneumatic, that is air. They're attached, the lifting bags are used with a compressor or with an air bottle. They work at 12 bar pressure. So that's the another range of rescue tools we have. And the most important is we have come out with another thing which is called shoring equipment. Shoring was part of the range. It was in our portfolio, but now we have reinvented the whole system, and we call it the Omni Shore. So the advantage of this Omni Shore is the number of components are less, the man hours required to set up the system are less, and the time of rescue. You know, if there is a collapse of the building, there's an earthquake, so you need a shoring equipment. So this shoring equipment is required for structural fall. It's required for a trench. It's required for automobile. So we have different sets for different applications, and we have a configurator. That means a customer can configure the kind of shoring equipment he wants to buy with those less number of components, but you can make infinite applications. So by reducing the number of components, we have reduced the weight of the whole system. We have, as I said, reduced the setup time. So it's a totally different technology which we have come, which we call it as the Omni Shore. So shoring is another field which we specialize in.
Great, sir. So that was the product
Yeah,
range.
and we have
Holmatro
many
offers.
patented features in that. I don't want to get into the technicalities, but things like we have Omni Lock, which is something new in the industry, which is again part of the Omni Shore, and a patented feature of Holmatro. So shoring is one, which is an additional thing besides the rescue products.
Great, sir. Great. Yeah. So that's where Holmatro expands
Yeah.
when it comes to rescue tools. All right. So I think we have covered a lot about Holmatro
Yeah.
and why rescue tools are important and why why Holmatro is the best choice when it comes to rescue tools. So, on an ending note, what do you have to say to our viewers on rescue? Why rescuing is important and why choosing the right tools, such as Holmatro, is important when it comes to going with.
Yeah, before I answer this question, I'd like to add we have another vertical which we say is the hydraulics solutions, Holmatro hydraulic solutions. Earlier it was called the Holmatro industrial. And we have re-railing products. That means if the train derails from the track, so we have an equipment which can put the train back on the
Back on the
tracks.
track.
And this is a product which is selling quite successfully all over the globe. Again, the reasons is that we have a minimum number of parts in the re-railing set. The setup time is the least, and it has advantages over our competition. So re-railing is also a product which is a rescue product, but then not basically it's rescuing human lives, but then it's helping to put the trains back
Back
on
on
the
track.
tracks. So that is another vertical which we have. So we are talking to some partners in Sri Lanka to get them over
Get them in the market.
and commence that business as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming to the rescue, yes, as I explained, Holmatro would like to maintain its leadership in the field of hydraulic rescue through innovation by having long-term partnership with our channel partners in all countries, and in Sri Lanka we're making a small beginning with Marlbo, and I'm sure it will grow in the years to come. And we're confident that we'll be able to serve the Sri Lankan market and make our contribution in saving lives to our maximum and educate our customers, the first responders, the firefighters, and the Sri Lankan rescue teams.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. So as we wrap up today's episode, sincere thank you to Mr. Anil Nangia for joining us today.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be here.
Thank you,
And thanks for framing this quite well.
Thank you, sir. And also thank you for giving us a closer look at how Holmatro continues to drive innovation in rescue technology.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this episode, it's very clear that successful rescue operations rely not only on the courage and expertise of the rescue teams, but also in using advanced rescue technology. So, and to our listeners, thank you for tuning in today, and we hope today's conversation has given you a greater appreciation for the role that advanced rescue equipment plays when it comes to saving lives. So if you'd like to learn more about Holmatro rescue tools and solutions and their presence in Sri Lanka, make sure to connect with Marlbo and stay tuned for more conversations like this. Until next time, stay safe and meet you in our next episode.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. As you say, stay safe. Thank you.